Hello, everybody. My name is George Muldoon, and I'm the president of Pelham Travel Basketball. It's actually me in the picture there on the left-hand side, along with my now seventh grade girls Pelham Travel team. I really enjoyed coaching and spending time with. I wanted to take a little time, a few minutes, to give you an update on our girls basketball program, and in particular, the younger ages of our program, which we're really looking to recruit some new players into. So I thought I'd take a moment to explain some of the top objectives of the program for those of you who are not familiar with the program. We've actually been a program here in Pelham, New Hampshire for almost 30 years, with over 2,000 players, that boys and girls, who have come through the program and gone on to great careers in the middle school level and the high school level and the college. And they've learned life skills along the way beyond basketball that have probably been the most rewarding. I'll then talk about the season framework, what that typically looks like for like number of games, practices, what's the time frame, kind of like the parent driving around overhead, if you will, and even summarize some of the costs to make sure that everybody has a good perspective on what we're all about. Last but not least, I'll say this again at the end of this video, but we will be having a parent informational Q&A session at Pelham High this Saturday at 1:30 p.m. That will be followed by an introductory basketball tryout session for any third through fifth grade girls who are interested. We'll also have a makeup session next Wednesday, which I'll talk about. So let me get started really quick here, because I don't want to make this video too longer than it needs to be. But let me talk about first our top objectives. So number one is to provide a safe, very positive, fun environment that's also promoting hard work, sportsmanship, and team. We've found over the years that a culture of hard work doesn't mean you can't have fun. And that's what this program's really been all about at its foundation, on the girls' side and on the boys' side as well. The younger players, when they come in, they learn to just not only love the game, but they learn to love and respect each other even more, working as a team, really understanding, the power of a team. And I think that helps them beyond the court as well. Number two, we, of course, really work hard to teach them advanced basketball skills, the rules of the game, the strategy, both on offense and defense. It goes well beyond the rec level. So if your daughter may have interest in playing on the middle school team when they get to sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, or the high school team, travel is really, it's not a core requirement, but most of the players who end up playing on those teams are alumni of the Pelham Travel Basketball program. So you can see here, this is one of our fourth grade girls teams from several years ago who are now in high school, winning all sorts of games, having all sorts of fun, and persevering through some tough times, like we just went through in the pandemic, as you can see with their masks on from last year. Number three is building character, self-confidence, and just a positive attitude, again, on and off the court. And this is probably the most important thing that our program really delivers on year over year over year. And we do have a very strong girls program legacy in particular that's been kind of curated by these top objectives that we've always had. And so now we're at a point where our numbers are fairly low at the fifth grade level and at the fourth grade level. We typically like to have at least one team at each grade level. So this is a call out to all third, fourth, and fifth grade girls. Our third graders can play on the fourth grade girls team. So let's talk about what the typical season looks like. The standard season length is about 15 to 17 games. We play in what's called the River Valley League. It's an all-girls basketball league made up of teams from the Merrimack Valley in Massachusetts, along with now 5 New Hampshire teams, Southern New Hampshire teams. So towns that are right around us here in Pelham, like Salem, Wyndham, Hudson, Nashua. Our games are, by and large, always on the weekends, and most of them are on Saturdays with some Sundays. extremely rare situation where you'll have like a Monday night game, maybe like a makeup after a snowstorm, and we use some practice time to get that game in. And our home games are played mostly here, right in Pelham at NEP, New England Pentecostal, which is located on Bridge Street. King's Kids, probably driven by it a few times. Pelham High itself. This year, we won't be using the Memorial Gym because it's under construction, but we will have some extra time at St. Joseph's Gym, which is right on the Pelham-Salem line, kind of as you're driving out to Canopy Lake. Do note that this is not, an overbearing schedule. Many of our players also play rec ball here in Pelham because they just want to have some extra basketball time. Many of our kids just, kind of fell in love with the game, and as much time as they can spend on the court that their parents will allow, they like to do that. In addition to our league games, and again, this runs from like early December till about the third week in February. We do at least 2 tournaments that we plan out, and each tournament is about 3 games. We do typically have a preseason tournament that happens sometime around the Thanksgiving timeframe, certainly not on Thanksgiving, but on one of the weekends, before or after. Then we also play in the Pelham Holiday Tournament, which has been ongoing for, I think it's going to be its 28th or 29th year this year. And that happens in the time frame between Christmas and New Year's. There is also the potential for a third tourney, but that is optional per team, per coach, per group of parents. And then last but not least, there's the River Valley playoffs, which could involve at least 1 and up to 3, very rarely 4 games, depending on the bracket. So when you compare it to other sports, it's pretty standard stuff. Activities, we start practices sooner, right? We want to get the girls prepared, and the boys side, we do the same. We start the week of October 24th. We understand there's some fall sports still going on at the end of October, so we're very flexible with players needing to miss practice because maybe they have a soccer practice and they're getting ready for their soccer playoffs or something like that, or other sports like Razorbacks. We always make sure that we put the 4th and 3rd and 5th graders at the earlier time slot for practice, which is 6 p.m. to 7:25 p.m. The older teams take the later slot. We do a fundraiser that begins in November. Some amazing prizes, basketball gear bags, slides we're talking about this year, embroidered jackets, shooting shirts. There's some really awesome prizes for the top fundraisers, including like PlayStations, and talking about motorized scooters, like real high quality one this year. And then at the end of the season, when it's concluded in mid-March, before the spring sports start, we have an end of year banquet where we recognize all of our teams and we reward the 8th graders. Program costs, they're very similar. If you're familiar with the Red Hawk soccer program, we're actually a little bit cheaper when you add everything up, but we're at $350 per player. If you have multiple kids in the program, you get a $75 discount for the additional players each. There is a $100 fundraising minimum. However, you get all that money back when the player does the minimum fundraising, which is equivalent to selling 10 raffle tickets. The uniforms, we don't have an exact number on them yet, but they're typically around $75. They only need to purchase 1 uniform. And this is only new players in the program who don't have a uniform. If they have an older brother or sister, they want their number, assuming that, right? Some kids are funny like that. Hand downs are okay. And then the only other cost, quite frankly, is, those 2 tournaments that we do. Sometimes they charge like a nominal fee to come in and watch the games for the day. It's like $5, So again, if you compare this to like the soccer program, or even the length of the schedule, number of games that you're getting for your, player dollar, if you will, and the total amount of time, our slate is about 3 months, 15 to 17 games. So it's a little bit less than what you get with 2, technically 2 seasons of soccer, which is the spring and the fall, and less overall for the gear. So there is a backup plan that we would entertain if we're unable to field or put on the court a 3rd/4th grade girls team. And that would be the possibility of having a modified, shorter game season. So the registration fees for this would be a fraction, smaller fraction of the regular fees I just reviewed. And it would be probably like 2 or 3 tournaments. So 6 to 9 games played in the January, February timeframe. Something you could easily do in addition to playing Pelham Rec. There'd be maybe one, at most two, a couple of weeks, practices per week. And again, over a shorter, much shorter time frame than I just discussed. And this would give third and fourth grade girls at least the opportunity to try it out, right? Get a feel for what the travel program's about this year, and then decide, hey, going into next year, is this something I want to do in a standard season format? We still would have to do uniforms for this, and this would only be available for third and fourth grade girls. Our fifth grade girls team, we will have a team. We're looking to add to that team, but that season's not in doubt. So my call to action to all of you who may have signed your daughter up for rec and maybe, for whatever reason thought travel was such a big burden or too expensive, or too hard, come talk to us. It's not that at all. I've got a lot of parents, mothers and fathers on our board, and volunteers who work with us who have had daughters in the program from very young ages up through 8th grade, and they'll be there this Saturday, October 1st at Pelham High. Love to invite you to come down at 1:30, meet us in the gym lobby. Bring your daughter. Would love to have her participate in the tryout, right? I'm going to call it more of a basketball intro session that we'll have from 2:15 to 3:15 in the gym. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll give them some exposure. Then you can decide if you want to do it. If you can't make it this Saturday, we will also be at New England Pentecostal in the gym lobby area. It's in the back of New England Pentecostal, in the back of King's Kids, from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. next Wednesday, again, October 5th. And that is located at 955 Bridge Street. So that's it, everybody. I just wanted to send out this quick message, share it around. If you know any third, fourth, or fifth grade girls' parents, I'd love to speak with you. I'll be there personally on Saturday. I'll answer each and every one of your questions and we want to make sure this is right for you, and make sure you have the truth about what our program's all about, because it's an awesome program. Thanks a lot, and I hope to see you on Saturday.